Welcome back now. And what could come as a big boost for the Indian startup ecosystem? The government has notified a credit guarantee scheme to provide collateral-free loans to eligible startups. According to the eligibility criteria, only those startups recognized by the DPIIT and those having reached a stable revenue stream and not in a default situation can avail credit under this scheme. Well, to understand how this scheme will benefit startups, I have with me Akhil Handa, Chief Digital Officer, Bank of Baroda. Mr. Handa, thank you so much for joining us. Give us a sense of what the appetite appears to be on the ground as far as startups are concerned, looking for such kind of funding solutions.
Thanks, Ashwin, for having me. I think, look, there is quite a bit of appetite in as far as the startups requirement for credit facilities is concerned, and specifically because in absence of credit facilities, startups normally have to resort to equity dilution. So this scheme of the government provides, to my mind, a new avenue for the startups to be able to diversify their funding book. There is obviously not every startup who is ready for credit facility. And some of it, the criteria has been explicitly spelled out by the notification. And the banks, I think, will add, or the member institutions will add further to the criteria as well.
Right. Mr. Handa, if I may come back to you with respect to the eligibility criteria, you think perhaps that could have been slightly more relaxed, perhaps a little more loosened to allow for a larger pool of startups that could have applied under the scheme?
For sure, you can always ask for more, right? But I think it's a great start, right? And I'll just give you a sense of where the normal requirement looks like. See, we have more than 3,000 startups that bank with us through our Bob World startup channel, and what we see is we funded about 2% of these startups for credit facilities, right? Not a big number, right? Compared to the MSMEs, post-revenue, stable MSMEs that would come to the bank. Now, the average ticket size of these is almost 1.5 crore rupees, right? And considering that the government has kept a cap of about 10 crore rupees on the credit facility, to my mind, covers about 90% of the startups that we're looking at to get them started. Now, obviously, when a startup has already they have access to facility, there is now a track record of repayment. Down the line, they can always have a bilateral relationship without the credit facility from the bank or under the other credit facilities that are already existing as well. And you can take the guarantee scheme covers from SGTC, that is a CGT SME, etc. So there are other avenues available as you graduate, and I think up to 10 crore is a great starting point to my mind, and it's a very bold step by the government.
Sure. Interesting. An interesting new scheme to boost the ecosystem, the startup ecosystem. Mr. Handa, thank you so much for joining us. We'll, of course, try to connect with you again, maybe just a couple of quarters down the road to see what the traction is like on the ground. But that is all the time that we have for. It's a wrap on this edition of Business 360. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned to CNBC TV18. The news and updates will continue on the other side.